the people who are not with us today at our Google Meet. And then I'm going to tell you about cats. So here we go. All right, so there was this happened, I think yesterday, or maybe it was Monday, I don't know. But there was this trial that was happening in Texas, where, of course, trials are virtual now. They have to use Zoom or Google Meets or whatever. And so this trial was happening in Texas, and when all the lawyers and the judge and everybody logged on to the Zoom meeting, this is what happened.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take a look.
Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that. I think if you click the up arrow next to this.
So I've done a lot of embarrassing things on Google Meets and Zoom Meets and all of that, but I've never done anything that embarrassing. And so I had to share that little bit of levity today for your Wednesday morning. All right, so today, on that next clean page in your notebook, please, I would like you to write mug project. That is what we're starting today. We're not going to go too far into it today. We're just going to do some prep work today. And I'm going to have you get some of the supplies out of your swag bag and do some preparation and do some sketching. But on that next clean page, please write week 3, day 1, intro to mug project. There will be some vocab, some steps, and sketches. Okay, so here's what's happening. Today, I'm going to introduce the mug project. We're going to make some templates today, and you're going to learn what that means. You're going to sketch some design ideas once I go over what the assignment is and you have a better idea of what I'm looking for. Tomorrow, we're going to make a bunch of slabs, and we're going to start to construct the body of your mug. So we're going to get the main part of it made tomorrow. Friday, you don't have school. And I do. I have to prep for coming back to in-person learning, but you do not have school on Friday. So that means that on Thursday, we have to wrap up your clay work extraordinarily well because it's another 4-day weekend for you. Gosh, you have Monday off too for President's Day. And then next week, B-Day kids who are 11th or 12th graders who are hybrid will be back on Tuesday. And A-Day hybrid kids who are 11th through 12th graders will be back on Wednesday. And those folks are going to be bringing their mug project to school with them. You're going to be packaging it up and bringing it to school so that you can work on it here. And I'll talk more about that. In fact, if you are an 11th or a 12th grader, I don't care if you're hybrid or VLA, if you're an 11th or a 12th grader, I'm going to ask you to stick around at the end of this Google Meet so I can chat with you just a little bit more about what to expect for next week. And I'll remind you of that at the end of the meet. Okay, so here's the overall kind of vision of what this new project is. This is project number 2. It is a slab-built mug. You're going to be learning how to work with slabs. You're going to be making a pulled handle, and I'll be telling you what that's about eventually. And you're going to be using a paper masked design. And I'll be explaining that today too. So you'll be making a functional mug for this project. Okay, this is one of the things I would like you to write down, please. These are new vocabulary words, so please jot these down on that next page in your notebook where you wrote week 3, day 1. Term number 1 is slab building. So you have done coil building, you've done pinching, you've done slumping where you put the clay over the mold in ceramics A. Now you're learning how to do slab building. So slab building is measuring and cutting precise slabs of clay to construct a form. And so you're going to be starting with the slab building tomorrow. But today you're going to be making a template, which is term number 2, which will help you when it comes to the slab building tomorrow. You always need to make templates when you're working with slabs. So a template is a non-clay shape that helps precisely measure and cut a clay slab. So today I'm going to be telling you how to make a template so that your template is all set and ready to go. So tomorrow, all you have to do is roll your slab, use your template, and trace the slab from your template so that you know your slab is accurate. Term number 3 is bevel. A bevel is a 45-degree cut that helps slabs fit together seamlessly. So we want our slabs to come together so that when you put those edges together, you can't see that seam where they came together. And cutting bevels is one of the things that will help you put your slabs together more accurately. And I'll explain how to cut a bevel tomorrow. Term number 4 is engobe. This should be a term that you know because you had engobe in Ceramics A. So just as a reminder, engobe is colored clay slip. And everybody has a little jar of engobe in your Ziploc baggie, in your swag bag. I just grabbed a random color for you. So, you know, it is what it is. You got one color of engobe. And so that's what we're going to use to create a design on your mug. And we're going to create that design through paper resist. So paper resist means using paper to keep the engobe from coloring a particular area of your design. So you're going to be cutting out paper designs, sticking them to your clay, painting over them with engobe, and then peeling the paper away. So wherever the paper was, that's where your design is going to show up because the engobe would not be able to go under that paper. And then finally, you are going to be making a pulled handle. A pulled handle, let's just sit at the end of this table. A pulled handle is a way that professional artists make their handles, and once you learn how to do it, you can do it really quickly. It makes a really strong handle. It makes a really smooth handle. So you're going to be learning how to make a pulled handle for your mug project. So make sure you have these 6 terms in your notebook, please. I'll give you another 20 seconds or so to finish writing or to snap a picture if you don't think you're going to have enough time to do your writing. All right, moving on in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so these are the supplies you're going to need today. These should be in your swag bag. One of them is your red Solo cup. So if you were wondering why you had a cup in your swag bag, wonder no longer. This is going to become your template for your mug project. You're also going to need a scissors, which I did not supply for you, so hopefully you have a scissors at home. And then you need your ceramic notebook and a pencil. And that's it for today. You're not going to be working with clay today. We're easing back into it. But tomorrow we're going to have a lot of clay work to do. So I'm going to show you a bunch of examples of how your mug could end up looking. If you want to do some sketching in your notebook underneath where you wrote down the vocabulary words, go ahead. So this is one of the ways that you could make your mug project. You could make a wide lip mug. So that would mean you would use your red Solo cup, you would use it right side up and make the template based on the Solo cup where it's wider at the top, narrower at the bottom. So if you like the look of that style of mug, then that is how you will cut up and use your template. Or you could reverse the direction of the Solo cup and you could make your mug that you create be a wide-bottomed mug. Another name for this type of mug is a tankard. That's wider at the bottom than it is at the top. And so you would just then reverse your Solo cup and then construct your clay cup with the wider part on the bottom. Yet another way that you could approach this is you could cut up your Solo cup and use the template to make an hourglass shape. So wider at the top, skinnier in the middle, and then wider again at the bottom. And that is a more complex form, but it's kind of, you know, the next step up in complexity and interest as well. So if you like that look, that's something you can do for your mug. Now, when it comes to your design, and you won't be making your design today, but I just want to give you a little forecast of how the design is going to be done. So when it comes to your design, you're using paper masking or paper resist, as you wrote down in your vocab. So paper masking is done by cutting up either notebook paper or computer paper, just any old paper you have at home, cutting it up into the shapes that you want. And it can be as elaborate or as simple as you want, but it's going to be more than one shape. You're going to cut out these paper shapes, and you're going to use a scissors, or if you have a craft knife, like an X-Acto knife, that would be ideal, because then you can do some really delicate cutting. But I did not provide that for you, so a scissors would be fine if that's what you've got. So then when you have your paper cutouts, you stick them to the wet clay. When the clay is leather hard, you stick them down tight so there's no gaps between the clay and the paper cutouts. And then you take the engobe that I gave you, and you should have a paintbrush in there that I gave you as well, and you're going to paint the engobe over your paper masked designs. And so once the engobe has set up and dried a little bit, you carefully peel the paper off, and that's where your design comes from, because wherever the paper protected the clay, the engobe will not have been able to go in that spot. And so you get these silhouettes of your designs. And if you really stuck your paper down really nice and tight, the designs should be really sharp. But if the engobe accidentally kind of snuck under the paper a little bit, you're also able to scratch those areas away and to fix the mistakes. So that's how you're adding a design to your mug project. That won't be till next week, because this week we're going to be constructing the mug. Next week we'll be adding the handle and the design. So just to give you a few more visuals of what this could look like, here are some more examples of the paper resist or paper masking as a design with some different colors of engobe. Your design can be really elaborate if you want, or it can be really simple if you want. If you want to go online and look for pictures that you can use as a design, that's fine. It's really going to be dependent on what kind of design you like the look of. Think about what's your taste, what's your aesthetic, your like decorations in your house, because maybe you want to make the mug match that, or maybe you want to think about giving it to that person that you really like and you want to make them a mug, and so you want to tailor the designs to that person. I would like you to stay away from words or text as a design. I'd like you to have it be more image-based or pattern-based. But if you really feel passionate about incorporating a word or something in your design, just maybe reach out and run it by me and make sure that you're also having some image work in your design as well. Okay, so these are your steps for today. Draw a line under the vocab words that you wrote down in your notebook, and please jot down these 4 steps, real simple steps today. So I'm going to go through them with you, and then I'm going to show you the steps. So the first thing you need is you're going to find your red solo cup and your scissors, and you're going to cut up the side of the solo cup. You're going to cut the bottom off, and you're also going to cut this really kind of firm rolled over lip off, because it's really, it makes the plastic really hard, and we need to be able to cut this and lay it flat. So we're going to cut off the bottom, and we're going to cut off the lip, and we're going to cut up the side of the cup so that we can lay it flat. Once you have your template, you're going to sketch out 3 ideas, at least 3 ideas for your form. That means what shape is it going to be? Is it going to be the kind of mug that's wider at the top, wider at the bottom, or the more hourglass shape cup? So you're going to sketch 3 ideas. Then once you have your ideas, you might need to do a little bit more altering to the cup, the plastic cup, the template, especially if you're going to do the hourglass. The hourglass technique is going to require just a little bit more cutting. And so then you might need to make some adjustments on your template. And then once you're done with all that, you're going to take a photo of your cut up cup. So essentially taking a photo of your template, and then put that on top of your sketches that you did for today, and take one photo that shows me your cut up cup and your sketches in the same picture. So those are your steps for today. I'm going to show you what this should look like in just a moment. I'm just going to give you a little bit more time to finish writing this. I'm going to gather my supplies together. I need my scissors, my cup, and sketches. All right. So if you don't have this all written down yet, you can snap a picture, and so you can finish writing it down at a later time. I'm going to move on. 3, 2. All right. So this is what your picture should look like for today. Those are my 3 sketches. I really like the hourglass shape, so that's what I think I'm going to make for this project. Although I kind of like the tankard shape too, where it's wider at the bottom, so I kind of have to make up my mind a little bit on that yet. And then those are the design ideas that I came up with. I kind of like geometric designs, and so those are the designs that appealed to me. You certainly can scope the internet and find other design ideas, or maybe you have a strong like design that you like to draw and doodle and you want to cut out a version of that. It's really kind of up to you what you want to do for designs. But show me at least 3 sketches that show me the form of the mug and what designs you might do on that mug. And your designs can change. Your ideas can change. I just want you to have a baseline that you can start from to be able to begin this project. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to demo how you would begin doing this today and kind of clue you in on a few things to watch out for. So I have my cup here and I have my scissors here. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut up as straight as I can till I hit this line right here, and that line that goes all the way around my cup. I love these cups. They have these great straight lines that we can use as a guide. So I'm going to cut off the bottom of my cup, and I'm going to try and cut as straight of a line as I can by just following that edge that is already on the cup. Now, if you have your own plastic cups or paper cups at home and you would rather use your paper cups, go for it. These are just ones that I found that I thought would be really strong and a good size. But if you have a better cup at your house and you want to use it, that's fine. Go for it. But it does need to be one you can cut up. So here's the bottom. I just cut the bottom off, so that can be discarded. You're not going to need that. So now I try and lay it flat, and this rolled over rim is really, really firm. And so I can't make this lay flat while that rim is on there. So I'm going to use this little straight line that's just below that rim as a guide, and I'm going to cut off that rim. So I'm going to do that really quickly. And even with that rim gone, I found that this plastic that this cup uses is a really tough plastic. And so it'll lay flat, but it'll have some sass to it. Like, it won't want to lay all the way flat. So you're just going to have to be a little bit patient with it. Okay, so I just cut off the rim and I cut it as straightly as possible. It is actually important that this template that you're left with has the straightest edges possible when you're doing the cutting. So I do want you to be careful and you take your time as you're doing the cutting, because this flattened out piece of plastic is what we're going to use to trace your clay tomorrow. So if you cut the edge of your plastic cup all janky and weird and uneven, that's really going to be a hindrance when you're tracing this onto the clay. So just FYI, be a careful cutter. Okay, so I have my template. Now here's the thing that might be a little bit different. If I'm doing a cup that's wider at the top, my template is done. If I'm doing a cup that's going to be wider at the bottom, my template is done. But if I'm doing a cup that is going to be a hourglass shape, there is possibly a little bit more cutting that I need to do. So if you're doing an hourglass shape, you actually will need 2 of these, or you will have to trace this twice on your clay, because you'll need the bottom of the hourglass to trace, and then you'll need, I actually have another cup that's been cut and ready to go, and you'll need a top part. Okay, so line these up so you can get a visual. So this would make a really tall hourglass cup. So I'm actually going to cut this down a little bit. See this straight line that's there? I'm going to use that as my guide, and I'm going to cut this to be a little bit shorter. So I know I only gave you 1 cup. So you don't have 2 cups like I do. But what you could do is you could trace this template, this original template, onto a piece of paper and make your second part of the hourglass from notebook paper. It's fine. So I'm just taping this together so that they don't wiggle quite so much. But now you can see here's my hourglass shape. So I would trace these 2 templates, which I would, of course, lay flat and trace, and I would do this tomorrow. But this is how I would go about making an hourglass shape. Or I actually did cut out, I traced this on notebook paper and made another version. So this might be more what yours would look like as the template today, okay? So if you're doing an hourglass, you need 2 template pieces that will eventually come together to make that hourglass shape. So then you would photograph your templates. You would lay them flat on your notebook with your sketches, so I can see sketches and template all in one. Okay, and that is it for today. I'm going to stop recording here, and that is not what I'm looking for. And then I'm going to see what questions you might have.